Now that I know what you went through, I gotta express it to other people.
It was gruesome to the ones who witnessed the crucifixion. Some say love is violent when you look at the crucifixion. Can debate all you want, whether it's truth or fiction. His historic death is known as the gospel truth for Christians. I lived in my sins for so long, I had to choose conviction. Wanted freedom, so when I heard this good news, I listened. Just fell and hit my knees, made a true decision. Accept the sacrifice, choosing Christ, learn his rules for living. He carried away my burdens, and yes, I chose to serve him. Discerning for certain that worship is more than songs with words then. So I walk with him daily, it became a lifestyle. Tomorrow may never come, the day for salvation is right now. For us it is free, but for him the cost was steep. Every time I'm reminded about the cross I weep. Thinking about it now, till it sinks in awfully deep. He bore all my sins and shed his blood on that cross for me. At the cross, horrific is the image at the cross. What Christ said, it is finished at the cross. Where Lamb's blood was shed, could have saved himself but chose to save us instead. There's power in his name, power in his blood. You wanna see a change, then come shower in his blood. Jesus wants you to be surrounded by his love. He saved my soul from hell, now I shout it just because. When I think of how he felt when he was stripped down, Roman soldiers looking fierce with a whip in his fist now. 39 times till his flesh ripped and dropped in thick pounds. His body could only take so much before it would hit ground. He wore a big crown made out of thorns that dug deep. It's like he wore a crimson mask on his face where the blood leaked. And then he carried a heavy cross up a hill while fearing his death. Spikes pounded down through his hands and feet, piercing his flesh. Dang, it seems so surreal, for real, it's here in my head. Feeling guilty, I wanna take that cross and bear it instead. A voice keeps saying it's my fault, I panic as it gets louder. Should've been beaten with a whip till I collapsed like the Twin Towers. And have my hands and feet nailed to a cross as it towers. Lord, thank you for your redeeming blood and all of his power. Even though I've been saved and blessed with the faith, I'm unworthy of your love, mercy, and especially your grace. At the cross, horrific is the image at the cross. What Christ said, it is finished at the cross. Where Lamb's blood was shed, could have saved himself but chose to save us instead. There's power in his name, power in his blood. You wanna see a change, then come shower in his blood. Jesus wants you to be surrounded by his love. He saved my soul from hell, now I shout it just because. After all he went through, I learned what his passion's like. If he would've fought back as they strike, it wouldn't be a perfect sacrifice. And after it was over, the crowd sorta stayed in silence. This was love put into action, not at all glorifying violence. For us, Jesus emptied himself and he came with love. Was slain and hung, and all that's left is a cross that's stained with blood. In an empty tomb with his clothes, his body was wrapped in. Cause God raised this man from the dead, just believe that it happened. And his blood still saves, cleanses, mends the heart that's broken. Gives forgiveness to those who ask, reaches out with arms wide open. The fulfillment of prophecy, God and man's relationship restored. We could go to the Father without the need for animals' blood to be poured. And free to live in him, the consequence of sin no longer our destiny. It was love that made him cling to a tree just to set us free. John 3:16 says it's plain, the fact God chose the love. And at the cross is where we find redemption through his blood. At the cross, horrific is the image at the cross. What Christ said, it is finished at the cross. Where Lamb's blood was shed, could have saved himself but chose to save us instead. There's power in his name, power in his blood. You wanna see a change, then come shower in his blood. Jesus wants you to be surrounded by his love. He saved my soul from hell, now I shout it just because.